Hey everyone, hey Smoo. It is Monday, and we are just going to do a bunch of random stuff today. Also, oh darn it, I just remembered something. It is 8:50. I've got to go at, let's see, maybe 11:40. So I can't quite make it to the 3 hour mark today, but I got to write that down. Do not stream past 11:40. Yeah, I've got to be somewhere at noon. And then the afternoon stream should be normal, maybe slightly delayed, but yeah, it should still happen. Okay, connecting to chat doesn't look very good. All right, Adam is, what was, oh yeah, that's what I looked at this up. Miscellaneous tasks for Skeleseller. Yep, that's pretty much still the same thing. I'll just keep it the same way. There we go. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to come up with the exact description of a day, given that there are a lot of little tasks to do, and it's hard to know how long they're going to take. Well, if they're truly little tasks, they shouldn't take a long time, but sometimes they're not little tasks. And then I don't want to just keep updating the today command. So let's start with the easy thing, which is tenant review. Post-stream to-dos, still going well. Haven't been spending Thursdays cutting through them though. So that's something I should focus on for this week, or this week. Get to the point. One of those things where it's like, I feel like this is good. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. I spent a lot of time refactoring the battle system and instance. And it's hard to know whether that time was all needed or if I just wanted to do that. I think it was needed, and I think it's going to help. Sustainability. I still feel like I want to be developing more than I am, so that probably means that this is sustainable so far. And the successes. Hey Phil, hey Aurelio. Yeah, or so. You can just add that onto anything. Successes. So successes of last week. Let's take a look. Finally didn't feel sick. That is a success in itself, although that's just my body doing that. That's not really me. We got pathfinding plus summoning plus start of the cleric. Yeah, and mentoring went well. Yeah, really, last week was a good week. Yeah. Hey, Goose. I feel pretty good. I think it's good to look back on this stuff. I do think I want to consider what my tenets actually are moving forward, because I don't think there's a lot that I don't think there's a lot that I want to do. I'll just write this down for next time. Consider dropping the first two tenets for a bit and maybe see where else I can make improvements. Maybe to the schedule, I don't know. Yeah. But this is, in my mind, it's evidence that the tenet system is working for me because of how many of these I've retired. Because I feel like they're either working or they're not important right now, or, well, pretty much those two things. Okay, so I have a lot of tasks written down that were still on Friday. So we're just going to bump all these down to here, I guess. And delete this. Put this up to the top. Delete this and this. So code the cleric. We started doing this and I didn't finish. And I'm not totally sure where we left off. I think we coded all of resonant healing. Single target heal, we had regenerate and reactive healing. Yeah, reactive healing we don't have coded. But did I finish regenerate? Oh, also, I was thinking about retheming the class a little bit. How much did I... Let me go take a look at something. Resonant healing. The conversion bonus is 20%, which means if you heal 10 points of damage, you actually do 2 points of damage. So 10 healing converts to 2 damage. I wonder if we should shift these numbers. I wonder if it should be like 5 healing goes to 10 damage. So it's less healing that you're doing and it's more more damage that you're dealing. And that way, it's not like your character just stay alive forever. But I guess that's a balance question, and that's probably something we should... Balance question. Should healing in general be lower? And maybe we increase the amount of damage that the cleric does. So was regenerate finished? No, it wasn't even... Oh, wait, yes. It might have been finished. Because that's not how abilities work. Proc interval is every 2... maybe we should put this here. Regenerate proc interval. Oops, 2F. All right, now delete this and put this here. What is that? Oh, didn't realize I used this new spots. I guess technically it should be like a math dot floor. Oh no, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think regenerate is done. So now we need reactive healing. Reactive healing. All right, how does this work? X% chance to cast this when attacked. Okay. So how do we write counterattack? Because it's going to be pretty similar. Grants a chance to counterattack for X damage. Yeah. So grants a chance to cast. Is it just called heal? Also, how do you get the name of the ability? I think Fireball does it. Or no, Inspiration does it. Here it is, mental swiftness name. Yeah, we need that. So string heal name equals, does it just know how to do this? It does. Oh, to cast, yeah, this heal name when attacked. All right. So now chance to counter is going to be, we don't need this. We need this to be inside heal somewhere. Public const float. I am using Copilot, yes. And sometimes, like I don't have a key to trigger it, I guess, like I do for autocomplete. And sometimes I kind of want it and it doesn't work for that. And I could just get that to work. But that's pretty rare. Usually I'm typing in code. Like if I'm typing in a string, I don't think it autocompletes for me. Although maybe it does. So what do we call this? Reactive healing chance, % chance, chance per level. I don't know. I don't know what I call any of this. Chance to counter. This does not go up per level. What goes up per level? Do we have any chances that go up per level? I just want to know what I name these variables. Just search for chance, I guess. % bonus. Ah, here we go. Miss % per level. So reactive healing chance % per level. Echo strike % per level. I'm going to call it, okay, I know what I'm going to call it. Reactive healing % chance per level. Yeah, that. All right, now what should the chance be? Probably pretty high. Maybe like 15%. Yeah, let's start with that and see how that goes. So this is going to be this chance to proc. Oh, this is... let's do it this way. Reactive healing. This is going to be heal dot this per level. So it's level times per level. All right, let's go take a look at that. This is just going to be a proper tooltip. It doesn't actually function yet, but getting it to function should be pretty similar to counterattack. So if we hover over this, grants a 0% chance to cast heal. Oh, whoops, that's not how this is supposed to work. We should put the per level thing in parentheses. Yeah. This. Per level, per level. There we go. Now let's try that again. Grants a 0% chance plus 15% per level to cast heal when attacked. Okay, so if I grant points here and max this out, yeah. So 75% chance when maxed out. I think that's good. It's hard to tell because this is, it's just napkin math, really. Like, is 75% going to be too much? You're going to practically heal every time you get hit. Exactly. A grid view. I went to the store and said, I would like a shirt with a grid on it. And they said, is it for 3D modeling? I said, yes. They said, right this way. Showed me an entire warehouse with them. How's it going, Drackley? So now we need to go add this in, this percent per level thing. Let's copy paste this, put it into heal. No, wait, it doesn't go into heal. How does this work? It's got to work like counterattack. So at the beginning of the battle, it's got to add it. Hang on one second. Hang on. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, you got to do this like I did for counterattack. Get buff. This is passive ability granting buff. So that way it can know that, yeah, okay, we got to do the same thing, I think. Reactive healing has got to be passive ability granting buff. Put this in here. There we go. Work on SAP integration with an e-commerce store. Boring. just for the record, boring is what Trackley said, not me. Imagine someone tells me their life and I'm like, yawn. Yeah. Well, I think that's good, at least, that you're getting stuff done. And that you've got an enthusiastic person yammering on in the background while you do it. Yeah, when I work on my off stream days, so I guess Tuesdays and Thursdays typically, what I tend to have on is music because I don't get to listen to music while I'm streaming. And even if I could, it's just too much for me, I think. Like paying attention to chat, having music going in the background, trying to code. So I don't tend to have other people on. Also, as soon as I talk to those people, I feel like I have to listen to their response. And then I'm not really tuned into my work. Okay, so now we need a buff. What is this called? Counterattack buff. We'll save this as reactive healing buff. Is there any other buff that's named after? No, that's good. Okay. Gluskup, thanks for the resub. Happy 9 months. How are you doing, Gluskup? All right, now we need another buff here. This is going to be reactive healing. I think it would probably be good for me to somehow cut down on the boilerplate that we have here. Like every buff is different, so it's, I guess it's kind of hard. Anyway, this is the same thing, on damage taken. So if the damage is not single target. Oh yeah, how should this work? This is just cast this when attacked. Yeah, I think we consider it single target. What? What? There's just single target and multi-target. Why did I allow both of these? I don't know about that. All right, will counter. How does this work? Chance to counter. So chance to proc equals reactive healing. This is not how this is going to work. Doing all right. Hope you're fully healed. Yeah, I think so. I feel pretty much normal. I feel like we've been productive. So yeah, in general, things are going pretty well. But the vague doing all right makes me wonder, without tone, is this a things suck right now, or is it a can't complain? So I hope things are, really good. But if not, hope they get better. So we don't even have a base chance for this. This is going to be heal, reactive healing. Oh, what is this doing here? This should just be ability.id or ability ID. Yeah, in fact, counterattack should be changed to have that. Oh, where is this? Yeah, this shouldn't exist. Ability ID? No, we don't use it anywhere else. Huh, interesting. Well, now that can be on one line. Hooray. All right, counterattack needs to have this, which means we need to put this over here too. This is going to be reactive healing buff. We need to import that. And then we need to finish coding this. So this is going to be the first time we trigger another ability, I think. Which, do we even have a way of doing that? We must. We just have to. There's use, and there's an entity and a battle. So at some point here, whoops, at some point here, reactive, we're going to need to call heal ability.use with the entity, which is this affected entity, and then the battle system, which is there. All right. Hey, Stelling. Same old, nothing bad. Thanks for asking. Okay, good. Yeah. All right, now we need to get the heal ability. Heck if I know how to do this. I think I made an abilities component. Yeah. And then this does this have a get ability? As get level, it has get ability. Well, would you look at that? Okay, but this returns something that could be null. But technically this never should be null. So active ability, base ability? It's an active ability, I guess. Heal ability equals, we need the abilities component. Abilities component AC equals get component. All right, now try to get their heal ability. Heal. What am I doing wrong? Oh, this. Okay, but this returns a base ability. Yeah, so we need to cast this. Hey, Broken Crown. I feel like only your hellos are now only expensive hellos. Maybe that's not true. Converting, can we do that? Yeah, nice. I'd be pretty impressed if this worked. Do we need text when this happens? Reactive heal. I'll put it there for a sec, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Hey, monkey. Need to spend these points. Yeah, I don't really have a good point dump, but even if I did, I tend to just reject all of the redemptions, and that way you just get all the points back at some point. I should make a very expensive hello. That's like 10,000. I just keep giving points back, and people are like, wow, people have a lot of points in this channel. They must really like watching. All right, so now will counter, we change this to will heal. And we get a chance to proc. So heal reactive healing dot chance. It's not like that. Heal dot reactive healing chance per level. So it's just the level times the chance per level. Per level. Interesting, because there was a base thing here, huh? Yeah, so level times per level. I wonder if we should put this into here, that there should be a % chance, and you can pass in an entity. Let me think about that for a second. I think that makes perfect sense. Chance affected. Yeah. It's the same thing, right? Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, so fine. Public, whether or not this is public actually doesn't even really matter. Float, get chance. Node entity, get level. Yeah, cool. So what this lets us do is it lets us simplify this. Float chance equals get chance entity. So now that all goes away. Oh, wait, we can't do that. I guess we need the per level. Well, I guess we could just put this in here. There. And then we do the same thing in the actual buff. Chance equals get chance affected entity. And this is just that this is less than chance. And this needs to, ooh, whoops. Okay, I see. I see what the problem is here. We need this to be static. Yeah. And that way we can do reactive healing, dock advance, yeah. Okay, pretty straightforward. Does it work is the question. So let's go try this out. Let's make it so that heal has a very, very large cooldown, 4,000. So it'll never get used naturally. And if we go into a battle now, it'll just do nothing. Let's try that out. So start battle. That's not even the right character. Lose battle. Start level 2 battle. Okay, so nothing should happen as far as my characters. They're just taking damage. And I guess they use stealth. But that's it. So now we lose that battle and we go into skills and we debug grant points and put all 5 into regenerative healing. So now it should use heal when it gets hit 75% of the time. And you'll know because text should pop up. Yeah, there, reactive heal. And you see the life number show up over here. Yeah, it's going to pop up quite a lot, I guess. But it looks like it's working. Now let's lose that battle and debug grant some more points and now make it add 200% healing over time. So now it's going to cast a lot of heals. And those heals are going to do damage and make sure that we're pretty much always topped up and are going to very slowly kill the enemy. Let's increase the game speed here a bit. This is the problem I was saying I was kind of trying to... Whoa, it's not... Uh-oh. Why didn't it heal? Uh-oh. I think heal is set to always heal the lowest possible target, right? Yeah. Did I do this backwards? Maybe I did this backwards. Maybe it always heals the highest life target. I wanted the opposite of this. Well, whoops. Maybe, is that what's happening? Yeah, it's only ever casting heal on the highest life target. Whoops. Okay, how do we change this? We just compare two in the opposite direction then. Sort descending. Yeah, that should do it. I wonder how I didn't notice that originally. All right, so row, give you 10 points and put them into this and this, and then start that battle. Now we should never lose. I'm pretty sure we should never lose. Wait, no, something's still wrong here. Oh, no, it's working. Yeah. Very cool. So if we just increase game speed by quite a lot, we should eventually win the fight. Oh, wow, no. Oh, the character needs to get hit for it to work, right? So there's a chance that if they only target the mage could still die. I guess that chance is pretty slim. Because there's a 50% chance that the rogue gets targeted. Yeah. And even once the mage dies, it doesn't really matter, because it just means the rogue will heal themselves completely. Yep. Now there's no way they can lose. And because they're only healing themselves, they'll overheal quite a lot, and the overhealing does more damage. Neat. Neat. That's really cool. Yeah, I like the idea. We probably need to rebalance this a little bit, but yeah, it's working. So all of this stuff is coded. Everything in these bullet points. We now need to code Blessing of Haste. Give X% haste to a friendly target for Y seconds. All right, what is this most similar to? I guess Cloak of Shadows. Do we have anything that buffs another character? I guess heal over time is technically a buff of another character. Yeah, but it's not a fully coded one. And nothing else, right? Yeah, nothing else. Okay. So this is pretty close to what we want. Oh, I guess I already figured this out. Okay. So should your power come into play for this to give you more haste to a friendly target? No, I don't think so. Yeah, so just X% for Y seconds. X% for Y seconds. So base haste percent bonus. There is no dodge bonus. Base duration. Yeah, sure, 3 seconds, whatever. And then what's that thing called? Words of Wisdom. Words of Wisdom, duration per level, add 1 second. And improve the healing the target receives by X%. Healing, improve, open mind. Okay, open mind healing percent bonus. Healing received percent bonus. This should probably be set like really high for this to make any sense. Because the odds that the buff lands on something that needs it. Yeah, maybe this doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm not sure. If you had to kill 3 hours and only had access to an internet browser on your phone, what would you do? Movies and music are not allowed. Are we talking about like you're on a plane or a train or something with limited internet? Because what I would have said is I would have downloaded, yeah, I would have downloaded like YouTube videos or Netflix videos ahead of time. If you're already in the situation though, what I'd probably do is some kind of like, I don't know, is there a game you're interested in or any sort of forums or social media or any apps that are already on your phone, I guess. Yeah, like I've been playing a lot of nonograms lately. I'd probably do that. The other thing, I guess I would have also considered downloading an audiobook ahead of time. Audiobooks are surprisingly good for those situations because sometimes your eyes are tired, but you're not really all that sleepy. So you just don't want to look at a screen. And that's where an audiobook can be really, really nice. Hey, Sir Puffin. Hey, Weird Beard. And I feel like there's no shortage of audiobooks. How's the weekend? Weekend was good. We've had more family than usual visiting. So it was a very family-filled weekend. I'm a little bit tired. All right, is this everything? Hey, Sigma Delta. Give X% haste for Y seconds, improve healing target receives, increase duration by X seconds. So everything's been written here as a constant. But like I said, I think the design of this is a little bit strange. There is a buff that you grant for somewhere between 3 to 8 seconds. And while that buff is active, healing is improved on that target. What are the odds the target is actually healed during that time? Probably pretty low. Hey, Dadbeat. I think about starting to make a game. Want to make something that can be released on Steam, maybe as well on as a iOS. 2D game most likely. Is there something you recommend for starting? I saw something called Godot. So as far as releasing on Steam, really any game engine will have you covered. So I don't think you need to worry about that. On iOS, I think every popular game engine will allow you to release on iOS, but there might be some caveats, and you might need a Mac involved in the process at some point. But yeah, as far as starting, Godot has some 2D specific stuff. Unity has some 2D specific stuff. I'm not too familiar with what Unreal Engine has for 2D. I think it's more intended to be 3D. Yeah, it's possible, but I don't really think it's optimized for it. I'm using Godot, so whatever you see me doing, if you're like, oh, yep, that would definitely accommodate it. Oh, wow, you didn't need to do that. But thank you, Deadbeat. Anything you see me doing, you can ask about, or you'll know that you could also do. Everything's 2D if you squish hard enough. Well, if things are only really set up for 3D, it's like you need an orthographic projection, and you still need to think in 3D as you do all of your vectors and math. The nice thing about Godot is I think it's pretty easy to learn. If you are going to use it, I suggest looking at, they have, where is it? They have a getting started guide somewhere. I didn't know if it would show up there, and maybe it did. I think they showed step by step. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, this particular resource is pretty good. They talk about the building blocks of Godot, and more specifically, they say if you can see it, if you can sense it, it's probably a node. So if you were talking about, let's just pull up like Zelda NES. If you were talking about Zelda, you would, so in the concept that everything you can see is a node, this UI would be a node. All the little trees might be a node, or maybe they'd be like the map would be a node. The enemies would each be a node. The projectile, Link itself, maybe some of these things at the top, and then sound and music that plays could also be nodes. Hey, Opanazo, I'm doing well. I have been all over the place as far as tasks go on this game. We have 3 classes in the game so far, Rogue, Warrior, Mage, and I am currently adding the Cleric. And really, there's only one ability left to code, and it's this one right here, Blessing of Haste. And what I was just talking about is this grants a buff, so it gives you haste for some amount of time. But then there's another part of the ability you can get, which also improves the healing received. Well, the problem is, if this duration is really low, then the odds of you being healed during that time are also pretty low. So this, I don't like this. Yeah, so option number 1, I guess, would be increase the duration by quite a lot. Option number 2 would be change the mod entirely. Is there another option? Option number 3 would be increase the potency by quite a lot. So it's got to be effective. And either it's got to be that it's lasting for long enough or that it's powerful enough when it happens. So if it was like plus 500% healing while it's active, but then I feel like this just becomes a dice roll. And I don't like that. Or option number 4, I guess, could be granted to all party members. Okay. That's interesting. Hadn't thought about that. Yeah. Yeah, I like option number 4, actually. Would you make it in Godot, then port to iOS, or could it be made simultaneously? So, yeah, that's what I was going to say here. And if you go over to export, there is an iOS. There it is. There is an iOS template. And it says exporting when using C# is experimental. And I think that's pretty much it. Then there's some like straightforward stuff you need to do. So what I suggest is, assuming you have a Mac, assuming you have an iPhone, that you should probably download Godot, mess around with it for a day or 2, and then try exporting whatever you've done. Maybe you've gotten a character to just like move around on the screen. Try exporting it to iOS and see, was that easy to do? If it was easy enough to do, then yeah, you shouldn't have any problems. What about next heal is empowered? Yeah, that could work. Although that's a little strange because this ability, Blessing of Haste, is a like you're blessing a friendly target, but then you're giving yourself a buff as well. And I think it'd just be a lot of words for this. But that would be this option number 2. How did you learn GDScript? Do you think it's easy for beginners? I do think GDScript is easy for beginners, yeah. And how did I learn it? It's very similar to Python, and I already knew Python. And their documentation is pretty good. Also, it's very GDScript centric. So if you look up like Godot animated sprite 2D, for example, everything on their page that you search for, like up here, this style of writing this is GDScript. So if you were to search flip H with no underscore, that's the C# way of writing things. And it doesn't even show on this page. But if they have any code blocks, oh no, they only have GDScript on this page. Yeah, I was gonna say some of their code blocks, they have a C# button that you can click. So GDScript is very straightforward. Their documentation is meant for GDScript. Yeah. Could you set up something that the haste buff applies first and converts to a healing buff after that? Yeah, that could be done too. Although I think that's a little bit complex. Because one of the things to know about this game is that the battles are all automated. So you're not the one using the ability and then seeing like, okay, that's what happened. The abilities are just kind of going off automatically. I can't show the game right now because I have a million errors from me only half setting up this ability. Anything like asset store where I can find libraries, modules, tools? Yes, there is. At the top of the screen, there's asset lib. And if you want to search for this through this for something, you can. I don't really use this. And for assets themselves, I just tend to go to itch and use that. And here, they're not all free, but at least you're not locked into a specific engine. So if you're like, you know what, I like this is $5, and you get all the stuff that you see here. Is this by any chance made by the same person I was looking at from before? Who made this? I don't see a link to this person's site or anything. No, okay. Oh, C bundle, here we go. Oh, here we go. Yeah, bacteria. Of course, it's the subdomain. With Unity, I don't know exactly how it works. I know there's a Unity asset store, but I don't know if there is anything Unity specific there. Yeah, option 5, that was essentially what Taigen was saying. That was me saying change the mod entirely, but yeah, that could be done here too. I think I'm leaning toward option 4, but I'll have to see about that because then maybe I want to change a different mod. Yeah. Where's the ban button? There we go. Heard the explanation of your game and its automated battles. Do you have the ability to make your character swing a sword or something similar in 2D? You mean, like, can Godot do that? Because Godot can do practically anything along those lines, but then again, most game engines can. What you really want to be able to do is just render a graphic or something like that. But then, yes, there's control for animation, and feeding it in is pretty easy. I will show you a quick example of this. I don't want to spend too long on this. Let me think of where I have. Okay, yeah, here, for example. So here's an animated sprite. And if we, where is this? There it is. So if we zoom in on here and we hit the play button, you can see it walking. And then you can quickly adjust things. Like I could say walk faster, or you could change which sprite frames are in here. So to swing a sword, you would just have the graphic of like the character like this, then like this, then like this, then like this. And maybe you draw an arc in as it's doing that. Yeah, Godot's asset lib is probably smaller because it's just a less mature engine in general. Oh, interesting, Fen. Also, yeah, talk about a cheap investment indeed. I did not realize that. Oh, sure. Yeah, thank you, Deadbeat, for the sub and the bits. And yeah, feel free to ask for help on this stuff. I don't mind answering these questions. Okay, so which of these sounds best? And like I said, I like this idea of granted to all party members. It's pretty much saying that if there's a cleric in your party will move faster and will be healed. And I like that. However, then what I wonder about is this other mod that we had, increase duration by X seconds. So, because at some point you'll get to the point where you just always have this buff, which maybe is fine. Like, let's say we said the cooldown of this was 5 to 6 seconds. Then I guess you'd want this buff to last for 2 to 6 seconds. Although it would apply to yourself as well, which I guess would lower the cooldown. So maybe 6 to 7 seconds. Hi, Vazarus. Yeah, welcome. Welcome in, everybody. I'll show the game really fast. Let me just cut all this stuff out. Because, yeah, I have this. Return just this for now. And then cut all this out. Yeah, so I've been working on this game for however many stream days you see in the title. I think it's 23. And the game in general is that you really wanted to be an adventurer, but you died adventuring. You came back as a skeleton, so this is essentially you. But you're not directly controlling your characters, and you have started up this town. So you hire adventurers, and they do battle for you. And through these battles, they will win items. So I'll force win this battle. And there are some items in town. And now your adventurers and your worker, like you, will go and restock your shops with those items. And then these customers can buy the items. And with the money, you can upgrade your characters, upgrade your shops. And yeah, that's the foundation of the game. So the stuff that we're talking about with characters, I have 3 in the game right now, Rogue, Mage, Warrior, and every character has the same general structure. They have a passive ability, which is just for their class, and then 2 active abilities that get used in battle. And I'm currently in the process of like just testing stuff out. So these aren't balanced or anything, but you can see enemies taking damage and stuff. The abilities aren't super clear what's going on yet. We don't have graphics for everything, but we're getting there. They had their own script. Microsoft won in the end. Well, it's also just easier to support only one language and documentation in one language and, you know, forums posts about one language. Yeah. You purchase these sprites as opposed to animating them yourself? Yeah, so there was a 2-part process that happened here. One is I got this pack for $50, and this comes with everything you see here. And we don't need everything you see here. So for example, this front battle pack, there's just no use for this in the game. Like, these sprites are great, I like them, but there's just nowhere to put these in. So yeah, I didn't really need to purchase that, but it was part of the bundle. And then I am also working with Quickie Joe. You might see them in chat every once in a while, and they have made a lot of extra graphics. So for example, this worm graphic that's been added to the game, this slime graphic, this thing, the skeleton, the bats, and some of the characters. This is the new rogue character, but I haven't added them to the game yet. But yeah, I really like the look of it, and it's not even that hard to add to the game. I just haven't done it yet. But in general, if you're going to do game dev, you probably want to expand your skills in art or music too, so that you can cut down on cost. I do not have art skills. Why are there so many? Yeah, it's because of the animations. So picture that an animation is going to be like this frame, then this frame, then this frame, then this frame, then this frame. So just bounce back and forth. And that's exactly what you see in the game. That's how we got the animated style of this. If I can't click that. Yeah, so first frame, second frame, third frame, second frame, and it just loops like that. Yeah, music producer by trade. Yeah, then, because I was going to say music can be very expensive, as I'm sure you know. All right, I'm still a little torn on this. I think let's test this out. So grant it to all party members, and the buff for duration. This will just be a long cooldown ability. So let's go code that. What did I call this? Blessing of haste? Yeah, here it is. All right. So this will be bless the entire party. Making them act % faster for that many seconds. Yeah. Hey, casual guy. Can I get hired as a game dev after completing an online course? You could get hired as a game dev before completing the online course. It's just a matter of passing whatever interview process for the company. All right, so base haste % bonus. Base duration. Base duration should probably be pretty minimal. Although I don't actually know if you have a 20% buff for 2 seconds. And how was I even going to code this? It's like a proc chance that happens. I don't know. Let's not worry about the balance just yet. Let's just code this. Is haste not like a keyword presented to the user? This is the first instance of haste you're going to have in the game. But it's going to be kind of similar to what you might see happening here for this rogue character has a Cloak of Shadows ability. And every, I think, 6 seconds, it'll just use it. So it should appear. Maybe I deleted it. No, I did delete it. Okay, never mind. Yeah, every once in a while, you'll just see like a haste buff show up. And it won't be super clear how much it's improved it by. There's some UI we'll probably need to add to battle to make some things clearer. But in general, I think it's just like you're not controlling these battles anyway. So just seeing some stuff happen and generally getting an idea for what's going on, I think should be good. Okay. Duration, healing bonus received. Yeah. Okay, how are we going to do this? So we pretty much just go into here and get this. Get friendly targets. So we're getting all the possible friendly targets. That's everybody. And then we're going to iterate over them and we're going to grant them a buff for each target in targets. All right, we need a haste buff. We don't actually have one of these yet. Base haste percent bonus, base duration. It's base duration plus this. So float duration. Does it know how to do this? It does. Cool. Yeah, so this will go here. But then this is actually a special buff. It's not just a haste buff. Oh, and we don't have a way of coding this just yet. Yeah, so there's the haste component of that buff, but then there's also the plus healing percent received. And ideally, the way you'd code this is as one buff. Why not use Unity if you're coding in C# anyway? A bunch of small reasons. The main thing just being, I guess, familiarity. I've used Godot more recently. I was more familiar with it. Yeah. Let me think about this. We need tags for buffs. So I'm going to do this. I think I have this written down somewhere. Let me take a look at our issues. Cloak. Yeah, make a tagging system. Yep. This will need to be applied to Blessing of Haste as well. Code Cloak of Shadows and Blessing of Haste correctly. So save this, edit this. So make sure to apply these same things to Blessing of Haste. So here's how I'm going to code this originally. We're going to make a haste buff and we're going to separately make an increased healing buff. So I'll just write to do add increased healing received. Haste buff for now. So we have power buff. We'll just save this as haste buff and do that. Actually, we could probably just replace power everywhere with haste and it would make sense. So let's just do that. Haste. Now let's get the proper capitalization of this everywhere. There we go. So haste increase converts a percentage haste of base to an absolute amount. This is not needed. Yeah, this is just going to be a percentage. Yeah, I don't care about this. Wait a second, what? Haste buff from percent. I guess dodge chance would have been better to put here. Dodge buff. Yeah, let's just copy paste this one. There we go. All right, so this is haste. Percent increase. Dodge buff, we need a haste buff. Haste buff equals 16. Is this considered 2D or 3D? This should be 2D. So with 2D, you're getting pictures. With 3D, you're getting models and then textures for them. And then possibly some other things too. But yeah. If you ever have pictures, this is definitely 2D. And some games like, what, Kirby, what was that game called? Crystal Shards. Some games are 2.5D, so they use 3D models, but you're only moving in a 2D plane. Is there? Yeah, here. So you can't you can't like go into this hole in the background, for example. You press left and you move along this path, and you press right and you move along this path, and that's it. But it's a 3D model of a character. Okay, so there's the haste buff. Oh, and I did not do this. That was very good that I realized I hadn't done that. So Blessing of Haste is going to add that. Cool, looks good, looks good. And then the rest of this we're going to delete. And what is this called? Blessing of Haste? I don't know what we want to do here for this. Maybe we write haste above every target. That might be too much. Target, green, haste. Okay, cool. So this should work, but I want to set the cooldown pretty high. What did I say? 6 to 7 seconds. All right, let's set it to 7 seconds. And then let's just see. Haste doesn't do anything yet. I didn't code the buff. But we should see the word haste show up. Do I have all the adventures? I don't know. All right, so after 7 seconds, we should see the word haste show up over all 3 of these. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit weird. Whatever. Now let's go make haste do something. So how do we get haste to work? How do we get haste to work? So there is active ability, and we do time elapsed plus equal delta. We could just multiply this by some haste amount here. I think that would probably be best. But this is for an ability, and this doesn't know anything about the haste here. So the caller of this needs to know about it. But yeah, we could just change delta here. Okay, that's the best way to do this, and that is very clean. So let's do that. So where do we get power? Stat computation, I think. Computations. Yeah, get base power, get base fortitude, get dodge chance. So I guess we just copy paste this and change dodge to haste. This will give us a chance in the range of 0 to 100, I guess, but we want it to have added 100 to it. So let's aggregate with 1. And that's it. So this is a multiplier. It's not a get haste chance. What am I talking about? Get haste multiplier. There. That's what I want. All right, so now here, we just get your haste multiplier equals stats computation. What do I call this? Stat computation. Get haste multiplier for that entity and multiply delta by the haste multiplier. Except for this is going to be the wrong direction. Because if your haste is more than 1, that means you're actually... Oh, wait, no, that's correct. Wait, is that correct? Time elapsed plus equal delta. Yes, that's correct. Okay, that's it. Yeah, let's try it out. So let's... How do we do this? We're going to put... Before I forget, let's put heal back to a 4 second instead of a 4,000 second cooldown. And then let's give the rogue quick strike again so they're attacking super fast. So instead of heal, we'll give them quick strike. But then they also get Blessing of Haste. And when this goes off... Where is Blessing of Haste? Here. When this goes off, let's make it a super fast increase. Let's make it a 100% bonus right now. So it should be very obvious that it happened. We might kill enemies too fast. Does the... Bless the entire party, making them act 100% faster for 2 seconds. Okay, let's try this. Okay, yeah, I'm dying. Well, that was too bad. I didn't even get to use haste. All right, let's try this. Yeah, so I'm doing 2 every, I think, like half second. And now haste made it go a lot faster. But then haste wears off. Yeah, cool, perfect. That's working. Now, just for laughs, let's make it go 500% faster. Actually, that would be kind of cool to do in a battle, like a really rare haste buff. So it's this battle that we're looking at here. It should just drain the enemy completely. Yeah. Oh, right, but it also makes the haste buff go faster, and then it stacks, so you're actually just gonna get infinitely faster. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Whoops.
I dig it. So yeah, balance wise, I don't know what this should be set to. Maybe like a 20% buff because it's affecting your whole party. And yeah, for 2 seconds sounds pretty good. I actually think this is one of those cases though where there's like an imbalance between just the ability as stated. So if you had this ability, give haste to your whole party, and you had the choice of also increase their healing or increase the duration, I think you'd always pick the duration at this point. Unless the duration went up by like, 0.3 seconds or something like that. But yeah, this still... Okay, we could change this a bit. We could change this to target another X party members. So it's one, you can target somewhere between 1 to 5 party members. I don't think I like that though. Yeah, I like the duration part. I think it's fine. I think improving the healing. I'm still so torn on this. It's not going to matter to improve their healing. Yeah, it's just not going to matter. Man. All right, well, let's code the thing that I know that I want. And then let's think about this some more. Still torn on this. It's just not super impactful. Yeah. I don't think it's desirable enough. Okay, so duration per level is 1. So when figuring out the duration... Oh, we already did that. Oh, so all we need to do is code the tooltip. So this is get level of blessing of haste. Words of wisdom. Duration is going to be... forgot what I wanted to say here exactly. JMS Warner. I assume James Warner. There we go. Thanks for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. I hope the stream was good. Really froze my brain trying to parse the name there. We're working on a game called Skeleseller here. I just did a quick demo of this, so I'll make this even quicker. But you run a town, and there are automated battles in this game, so you get into battles. And when you win these battles, you get items from them, and your characters will go and restock your shops in the town, and then you sell these items, and you upgrade your characters with the money that you get. So that's the quick overview of the game. We're working on a cleric class right now, and I'm a little torn. We've got this ability that I wanted to add, which is Blessing of Haste. Give haste to your whole party, actually, to all party members. And then this one, which increases the duration, but then I don't like this idea so much. Improve healing the target receives by X%. I think we need it. I don't know. I got to think about that some more. But yeah, what were you streaming? And hi, everybody. Oh, wait. Did you rename yourself? No, I don't think so. Never mind. Or maybe I'm going crazy here. Excuse me. So per level is going to be Blessing of Haste. Where's the wisdom duration per level? And the base duration is going to be Blessing of Haste duration. Cool. So level, I guess let's just put total duration here. In fact, why did I even do this? Let's just do this plus level times per level. Okay, so this is going to be... don't know how to say this in a non-stupid way. Increase the duration of your Blessing of Haste by duration seconds plus per level S per level. Yeah. Hacking together a little stream overlay thing using WebSockets to sync state between browser view and node process state. Oh, cool. What's the overlay for? Is it like follow count, subscriber count, that sort of thing? Or is it more like a game? We need the name of this ability. String blessing of haste name equals, hopefully it just knows. Yeah, good. Whew, love it when it does that. There. All right, the tooltip is good. The ability is good. Latest follower and sub. Also random stats like Home Assistant. From Home Assistant, like room temp. Oh, cool. Yeah. The random stat that I think is kind of interesting is heart rate for speedrunners. For every other kind of streamer, I feel like it doesn't really matter too much. But for speedrunners, it's pretty interesting to see. Is there anything else? I've seen some general like eye tracking stuff before too. I guess this requires custom hardware. Although then again, so does the room temperature thing. You need a internet connected thermometer. For horror games, yeah, that would probably be nice for that too. For most other kinds of streamers though, I can't really imagine why your heart rate would spike. You used to do heart rate a long time ago too. Not too exciting for dev stream. Yeah. Imagine you see it go up by like 1 or 2 beats per minute. You're like, oh man, this person's really locked into their code right now. Then it drops by 1. You're like, they must be bored. I'm still not sure. Hey, Handylicious, welcome in. Thanks for the raid. Yeah, test failing 100. Yeah, I will give a super brief overview of what I'm working on here. It is a game called Skeleseller. You run a town. You fight in battles, and from the battles you win items, and your characters sell these items and use the money to level up everything. So that's the quick overview. I am currently very torn on an ability that exists in the game. I don't know. Some kind of plus healing synergizes with resonant healing. But then again, so does haste, in a way. Yeah, what are you working on, Handylicious? Every time you're on your test suite, your heart rate races to 180. But what if you're just totally confident? I'm so torn. All right, let's see if at least the tooltip looks good. I guess let's also make sure it functions. So Rogue now has, Blessing of Haste, bless the entire party, making the Mac 20% faster for 2 seconds. Increase duration of your Blessing of Haste by 2 seconds, +1 per level. Ooh, that's not correct. That is not correct at all. This should not have the base duration in here. Level times per level. We don't even need that then. Yeah, is that correct? Base duration plus this times this. Yeah. Let's go try that out. What if you're using test-driven development? The heart rate thing. This is not. I know you mentioned Flyboy coming into a failing test. I do have some tests, but I wasn't even running them right now. Assume co-working in Pomodoros, do Django dev sometimes too. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I tried some co-working streams and I don't know. I felt like I didn't do them enough for my audience to expect them or like them. And I myself feel like I benefit from either the full streaming experience or just doing stuff offline. But I have seen them work for people. All right, so bless the entire party, making the Mac 20% faster for 2 seconds. Increase the duration of Blessing of Haste by 0 seconds. So let's increase this by 5 seconds. So now this will work for 7, and its cooldown is 7. So it should never be off. Well, except for at the beginning of the battle. But once the 7 seconds passes, then it should just always be set. Yeah. But it's only a 20% increase. So it's not that great. Has Detective any changes have been made to a series of tables? Includes draft changes coming from server plus local changes, racking my brain. If any changes have been made, it includes draft changes plus local changes. I was going to say if you could merge them all, but I don't know the domain well enough of what you're doing. But yeah, if there was some way to treat, like you have a diff function that doesn't care what you're passing in, and then the caller can figure out how to combine them. And he has us coming back. Get him to eat nasty tasting food. What? Is this like the jelly bean thing? All right, thank you, James Warner. Thank you for the raid. I hope your overlay ends up working pretty well. And yeah, thanks for dropping by. Have a good whatever meal of the day it is. I assume lunch. Hey. Titia. Or Tati. I should really find out how to pronounce your name. All right. I got to do some actual design. Let's get rid of this over here. So this class, the cleric, has something called resonant healing, which is healing done to party members converts to damage on enemies. Yeah. So then they have a heal ability, which is heals a party member. So that's obvious synergy right there. But then they have this thing, Blessing of Haste, which is less obvious synergy, increased speed of the party. And then this idea was also increase the healing they receive. And the idea here was like, well, if you increase the healing they receive, then you'll increase the amount of damage you're dealing with resonant healing. Maybe we just code this and, yeah, leave it as a balance problem. Like, if you were given the choice of increase duration by 1 second versus give like 10% more healing efficacy, you would almost certainly choose the 1 second duration. But if it were the choice of 0.2 seconds versus 50%, now maybe it's a harder choice. So let's go code this. I think I already made the thing here. Did I? No, I did not. Yeah, there isn't. There needs to be a healing received buff. Yeah, so we'll call it healing received buff. And then in Blessing of Haste, we need to add the increased healing. So this is this. Herb. All right. Healing received % bonus. This is per level. And probably needs to be more. And we probably really need to change that. So float healing received bonus equals this times that. Got it. And then put this in here, but only add this if this is greater than 0. Yeah, looks good. Cool. Next up, this healing received buff is pretty much just like a dodge buff. Let's just save this as healing received buff. Healing received. And % increase. This is called % chance. Oh, which probably means I messed that up in the other thing, right? Haste buff. What is that called? It's called % chance. Drat. This should be % increase. Did that affect everything? Yes, it did. Aha. All right, so then this is going to also be called % increase. And it will not be a dodge buff. It will be a healing receive buff. And everything else looks good. So now we just need to add this in. Oh, we already did add this in. Blessing of Haste. HRB, and then add the effect. And now we need to make it so that this is taken into account. So stat computations, we're going to get healing received multiplier. That's going to collect this up. All right, so normally your multiplier is 1, and we just go beyond that. Yep, looks good. Now we just need to add this in for the battle system heal damage. Cool. Healing multiplier percent. Oh, cool. We can just plug this in. Stack computation. Target. That's it. At least I think that's it. Yeah. All right, how do we test this? And did I write the tooltip for it? What's it even called? Open mind? Opens the mind of the target. This makes no sense, but I don't really care because I'm not trying to make final tooltips here. Increasing the healing they receive by level times per level percent plus per level. Yeah, this is from all sources, which could have some interesting implications there. Like right now, we only have the cleric, and the cleric is the only healer in the entire game. But in the future, maybe we have some other class, I don't know, like a priest class or something like that, and they can also heal. Maybe they're more of a party healer. And then having these two classes together could be interesting. It's per level, blessing of haste dot per level. And the level is blessing of haste. Open mind, we don't need that, and we're good. All right, let's go try it out. Except for before we do that, let's make it last for a really long time and buff by like a crazy amount. So let's just set these to some ridiculous numbers. Base duration is 20, yeah. What's the difference between a cleric and a mage? So the skills are all listed in this document, which you have access to, so I'll copy paste this. I don't know if that's what you're getting at though, but yeah, the mage is like a damage dealer class and the cleric is more of a healer class. Healer plus buff. As far as looks, well, I don't want to bias you there yet, so I'll leave it with that. Does that answer the question or no? Happy to answer more. All right, so let's see here. We have increased duration of your blessing of haste by 0 seconds. Opens the mind of the target, increasing the healing they receive by 0%. So if I were to just... Oh, I don't have heal. Whoops. Let's go give you heal again. How much is the game going to cost? Probably in the range of like $5 to $10. I don't know what to price it at within that range, but probably right now I'm aiming closer to the middle of that range. So maybe like 7 or 8, but I don't know. It's all going to be based on how it kind of feels at the end. But you can play it for free before then. And then at some point I probably need to restrict that somehow. But the next checkpoint that we launch is going to probably be either July, what was the date? Whatever that Friday is. I think it was the 19th. July 19th. Seriously? 2024. What day is that? Friday. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this is what I'm aiming for. And you could technically play the previous checkpoint, but it's just not worth it because we got a bunch of feedback and I already know what the complaints are and everything. So yeah, I would suggest waiting for the next one, but that'll be free if you just want to try it out. Okay, so now we have heal and we have this thing, and this let's just start a battle. So this will start healing, and it should heal for, I don't know, 7 or 9 or 14, sure. So it's healing for 14. Cool. Now we're gonna put points into this, and this increases it by 120%. So it should heal for like 27 or something. I don't know. Or sorry, 30, 32. I don't know. Did that work? It's only 2 seconds, so it's impossible to tell. Great. Well, let's put more points into this then. I actually don't think this is functioning, but I can't really tell. This now makes it last for 6 seconds, so it should be obvious. After it uses its blessing, there. Now healing should have been increased. That was not increased. I must have done something wrong. Base haste percent bonus, that's fine. Healing received bonus, that's up here. Get level of ability, blessing of haste, open mind, times the open mind healing per level. Yeah. And then it's a healing received buff, which in stat computations is done here, which we then use when it comes to healing damage. Oh, that's why. We never use modified damage info. Yeah. Interesting. What are some good sprite packet websites? I prefer itch. I don't know what I have as the itch command. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So this is like the fantasy football of roguelikes. So this isn't really intended to be a roguelike, but yeah, you are putting a team together that you think will work pretty well. All right, let's restart this, and hopefully it will actually work the way I want it to work. So we're going to grant a bunch of points. We're going to put them all into here. We're going to put 1 point into this. We're going to start a battle, and then we wait. So now it uses haste. Cool. Still only healed for 14. Probably because of this. Man, I messed up every part of that function. All right, now we're good. I'd be pretty surprised if this were broken. Let's speed this up a little bit. So it heals for 14 the first time, but then the next time it healed for 32, I think. Yeah, 32. And now 49 because this is additive. Now it's healing for 66, which is absurd. Why is the... Oh, right, that's why that's happening. Because this is increasing by 20%, which is actually 2.4 seconds, which means that we can't have the buff be this powerful. Oh, and if it ever does get this powerful, then it means that this is broken. Maybe we should cap your haste at a certain amount. This is the only haste ability, though. Blessing of haste. And what am I doing? All right, so base duration is 20. Oh, wait, that's why. This is stupid. That's still a problem, though, right? Because 2 will go up to 7. 7 is the duration of the thing, so we'll stack repeatedly. Yeah, so this needs to be lower. Set it to half a second, maybe? Maybe not even that much. Maybe like a 10% buff. Yeah, so we can go from 2 to 3 seconds. Okay, much better. Cool. Now let's set this to a more reasonable amount. Maybe we double the healing for that time. But doing like 5 times healing is pretty crazy. I don't think we can double it. I think maybe it works its way up to triple. So this is like 0.3. So what does this mean? This means that... This means more than half the time this buff is going to be on. And this is going to always increase that. You know, this is crazy. It's got to be like 1 to 2. 2 is less than half. 0.3 times 5, 1.5. So 2.5 times the healing you would normally receive. There's no way this is balanced. Let's go try this out. All right, so we just put points into this and this. Then it means that your haste will last for 2 seconds. It'll increase by 20%, and your healing will go up by 150%. And then any damage you heal gets turned into damage to the enemy. So right now it's doing 3, but after the haste buff, it's doing 7. So not only is it like full healing my character. Yeah, wow. It's healing the wrong character there, though. Why is that happening? Should always heal the one with lower... Oh, it's lower life, not lower percent life. A scratch command would be funny. I think I had a scratch command a while ago, but probably not for what you think. Although, yeah, now it doesn't exist. But people were talking about Scratch quite a lot because I was making a game that had an interface that looked like Scratch. Oh, I like blew through my break. I should probably take a break. But let's try granting the other 10 points here and put it into these. This should pretty much make my entire party invincible. I think. Let's see what happens in this battle. So now it can reactively heal 75% of the time. It's got a heal over time component. It's just healing the wrong target for some reason. Yeah. This is what I was a little bit worried about. But maybe we just like crank up the numbers on the enemies too. It's ridiculous. I'm going to speed this up. My characters have come close to dying. But they're like slowly whittling down the enemies. I've coded it so that the mage does nothing in battle right now. Okay, also, yeah, Quickie Joe, sorry, I missed your response that you had there. Where you were thinking of looks. Yeah, so the way that I look at this is I don't know. I've got it set in my head, like the Final Fantasy 1 classes. And they very where are they? Yeah, these. So this was the white mage and this was the black mage. And at least I don't know. It made sense to me for that, but I guess you could just theme it however you want. We could always swap them too in the end. And if you come up with a sprite that we feel like, I don't know, doesn't totally match what we want, we could still just come up with another class where it does make sense. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think any of the work you do will probably be wasted on any of the character classes. All right, there is one last thing, which is that I still feel like this is wrong, but I don't know. How much life does the mage have? The mage has more life. It's not based on missing life, though. Probably should just be based on missing life. Ran the mage had two different versions, so I could just use one for the mage. Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah. And the other nice thing is it doesn't really matter what, person A might have in mind for what it looks like, because once we just give them the looks of the character, they'll be like, yep, that's the cleric. And as long as they're slightly different, I think it'll be easy to tell. Oh yeah, heal doesn't say this right now. No, now it does. Okay, that's done. Yeah, I think we've coded everything now. So now I think we can actually add in the cleric. I should really take my break though. So I'll be back in a little bit. And then we'll actually add in the cleric with graphics. Yeah. Okay, is it jump time? It's jump time. For those who've never seen this, just type join in chat and then you'll figure it out. Just J and a number. That's all you need to do. I'll be back. again, close the game. Hope you had fun. Okay, so actually, you know what? This can be done maybe afterward. No, maybe not. Adventurer ID. This is the first. This isn't even it. Where do we have adventurer IDs? What? Adventurer class. Oh, it's not called ID. All right, new class, cleric. Now let's add in the new thing. Just duplicate that. Copy paste this. Set that back to this. All right, cleric. We don't have cleric graphics, so whatever, they can just be set to these things right now. Is that the display name of the class? Yes, so that can be set to cleric. This can't really change. Oh, you know what we could do? We could just randomly pick another number here. Yeah, sure, whatever. 3. There. Stats, I just don't really care to change right now. Yeah, I'm not touching those. And that's it. Now we just need to go into town and warrior and copy paste this. 3 cleric. Cool. All right, so now the cleric should be in the game. I don't even know what their sprite looks like. It's just some other sprite in the spreadsheet. So if we just click grant most things, we should now have a cleric. Where are you? There you are. You're a blue bandana wearing, white haired having. What color are you wearing? Gray? I don't know, whatever. Anyway, that's a cleric right now. So if we go to skills, nice. Nice. I started a level 3 battle, but it doesn't have the cleric. 2 mages. Oh, right, because they're, oh yeah. I forgot about that. We don't have another graphic for them yet. Neat. Now let's give the mage back their abilities. How did I get rid of them? Oh, I think I just went in and changed the, yep, I changed the cooldowns. All right, fireball, go back to normal. Lightning zaps, go back to normal. Do we have another graphic I could use? I guess not. Where's that character? There it is. All right, well, I'll just add in a new one for right now. It's going to be this. I need to go to exactly here and draw a 16 by 20 rectangle. There. Why are they hovering though? I did 1 pixel 2. Oh, because it starts at 0, right? Yeah, it starts at 0. Drat. All right, fine. Can we just change the selection that's there? Yes, we can. There we go. Now we make a new image that is 16 by 20. Oh, whoops, I meant to add an alpha channel. I had 2 selections. Fine. I'll go delete this selection. Nice. All right, export. So I want to put this in temp, I guess. Yeah. We'll just say this is cleric.png. Sure, do it. Now put the cleric over here. There. Now they should look pretty consistent in and out of battle. So get the adventurers. Nice. There's our cleric. And our mage is now shooting fireballs properly. So yeah. We're going to have to do something about the battle text, because when you're high enough level, you're going to just kind of always be seeing stuff happening. Pretty cool, though. Hard to tell whether this character is better than the other characters. Or better in a party. Okay, something's definitely wrong. Yeah. Something's definitely wrong with heal. That's why. Because I'm sorting by how much life is missing and then ignoring the sort by sampling. Oh, man. All right. So list node targets equals this. Oh, we're only ever targeting one. What am I doing? Why do we even need to do this? We just say first. There can't be 0 targets from this. Did I want this to target multiple things? I don't think so. Why do I have no target in targets then? All right, I guess we just say this is target. Yeah, and then just delete this. Indexing at 0 should be used instead of enumerable. Sure, whatever. 0. So if there are no possible targets, then just return immediately. Hey, 3D extended. All right, now the question is, did we actually sort descending? Because I was randomizing things anyway. All right, so we should only ever see the thing that took the most damage get healed. So there was that one. Now it's going to be one of these two. Way too hard to see with all these effects. Should be this one getting healed. Nope, I have probably done it wrong. Yes, I've done it wrong. So it was correct to begin with, and I was just accidentally sampling. Whatever. Try that again. All right. Only the one with the lowest life gets healed. So that was that one. That should be one of these two. It's that one. Good. So it should mostly be the warrior getting healed because the warrior has taunt. And this is supposed to be the benefit of having this character in your class. Yeah. I am using my own ECS framework, yes. Because Godot doesn't provide one by default. Although you could sort of think of it's just scene tree as sort of being an ECS, but not quite. Yeah, accidentally correct. Hey, Duluth. Yeah, welcome in, Zealous. All right, so is my party invincible now? Because they're only level 1. I don't think they're invincible. But they're not dying. I think it might all fall apart in the final round. It's hard to say. No, they're like Half-Life. Yeah, I think they're going to win. Which means the cleric probably is super overpowered. Because I don't think it used to work that way. If we get a battle that doesn't have the cleric, like, is this... All right, I'm just going to speed this up. Is this party even better? Kind of looks like having a tank doesn't really help you. Because this party's doing just fine. Huh. It is interesting, for sure. All right, I want to get a battle that doesn't have the cleric. There we go. So this one for sure dies, right? Yes, the warrior is on a on a death path, and now these two are not going to be able to make it. Yeah, so they died in the final round. So the cleric is just pretty good. Well, I want to see what it's like when we... Oh, wait, they're level 10. Oh, that's why. Oh, okay, that's a little bit better then. I was like, they shouldn't be this powerful, but I forgot the grant most things button puts me at level 10. Excuse me. All right, let's try giving them some more buffs now. Let's see. I want 1 in reactive healing. I want to heal over time. All right, I want just these points. There. I want to see what that does. Let's slow it down again. And then start a battle that has a cleric. Oh, that didn't work. There. Yeah, I think this text needs to be a little bit smaller that shows up for these buff effects. But yeah, what, I'm taking like no damage now? Oh man, they're practically invincible. Because if this character's ever targeted, it has a chance of healing, and it always heals the thing with the lowest life. So we probably need to tone down healing and just increase the damage that this character deals. But this brings up another, man, it's really, balance is really tough. Like, let's say you literally just had one ability per class, and your warrior had like slash, and your healer had heal, and your mage had fireball. How do you tell whether the healer is actually benefiting your party? And I guess through a bunch of simulations of like, well, can they last for long enough now as a whole that they're winning more fights? Because you can't exactly say, like, you can't put them all on a level playing field and say, yeah, 1 point of healing is worth this many points of damage because of all the different situations that arise. I don't know, but I think this is going to be pretty cool. Like, even just adding in this fourth class. Hey, Jordy, hey, Half. Maybe you have to sacrifice them being bad for them being good later. It's possible, but a lot of the ways that this works in other RPGs, at least, is that you're leveling them up manually. So having a bad character, and like a picture in Pokemon, you have like Magikarp. Like, this character just kind of sucks, and then all of a sudden it evolves and is great. But you had to go through that pain of evolving them. The way it works in Skeleseller, at least, is that all characters are always at the same level, and you level them all up at once. So if a character is ever bad, you just won't use them. and maybe that's fine, but I'd rather have the game just not give you the character until they're going to be good. So let's say at level 1 or something like that, or level 2, they're, let's just say level less than 4, they're bad, then just at level 5, grant the character. Something like that. And we can do that. We could just hold back on giving you the option of having a healer until you have a few party members and you actually need it. But I think the other thing, oh, I don't know. Yeah, balance-wise, I think we should probably tone down the healing and increase the damage. But we'll see how that plays out. Yeah. All right, well, this is pretty good. Pretty good. What is this? What is this doing here? I don't know what any of this is. Oh, is this because I touched iOS once? I think it's because I went in the export settings, but I'm going to just undo this. This is not supposed to be here. All right, what do we change in Adventurer? Frame progress? What? I don't even know what that is. I'm reverting that too. Probably another thing when I was showing Dadbeat. All right, this is the new... I checked all the tooltips, right? Cleric, Resonant Healing. Healing a target causes 20% of the healing to be dealt as damage to a random enemy. Overhealing a target converts an additional 20% into damage. Heals the ally with the lowest life for 49 health. Or right, because it's based on your power. Add 120% healing over 8 seconds. Yeah, that could be clearer. Heal the target for an additional 120% of the original. What do I want to say here? Probably add percent healing over duration. Of the healing applied via heal. Might be heal over. Okay, how about this? Regenerate the target for an additional 100% of the healing of the life restored from heal over that many seconds. Yeah. That might be slightly better. Heal name equals heal. Yeah. All right. And then let's look at the other ones. Grants a 45% chance to cast heal when attacked. I love this. I think this is super cool. Bless the entire party, making them act 20% faster for 1 seconds. It's a little weird that it says 1 seconds. Should probably have a pluralize function. Blessing of haste. Do we have a pluralized? Pluralized item. Num items granted. 1 items were item was. I'll just write it down for the future. We should probably just use this everywhere. What class is this? Blessing of haste. Shows 1 seconds. We should really make a pluralize function and use it everywhere. All right, was that everything? Did I already look through it all? Increasing the healing they receive by that. Increase the duration of your blessing of haste by... Yeah. Yeah, looks like it's working pretty well. All right. Yeah. Let's look at the code. Looks good. Heals the ally with the lowest health. Possible targets. We know that's going to exist. Proc count? What is that? Oh, number of procs. Okay, we should rename that. Num procs. And then delete the E. Yeah. Heal over time. Heal over time, I just gutted. I think we need to delete this. Do I use the heal over time buff? How do I do this? Heal over time buff. Yeah, I do. So I think we can delete this. Yeah. Let's gut this whole thing. This was just meant to be proof that this works. Maybe it's worth keeping, actually. Like, why bother having modified this? Let me revert it. It might cause an error to revert this. Yeah, because we need to pass in what? Float. Healing per tick, duration, and proc interval. Healing per tick. So 2, duration, 4, proc interval 2. Yeah, these don't need to be real values. Nothing's using this ability. Right? Yeah, nothing's using this. All right, that was heal over time. Ability ID, we added in all the new cleric abilities. Ability data. Yep, same thing, just all the new cleric abilities. Then we checked the tooltips already. They look pretty good. So I'm going to look through this pretty quickly. Yeah. Heal regenerate, yeah. Good. Add the cleric. Add the cleric data. Add the new things. Healing received can now be modified and haste can be modified. And I liked how haste was coded. I'm glad I did it that way. It would have been really weird to make it a buff and then like every 0.2 seconds it increases the duration of all of your abilities or something, whatever. Yeah, balancing the abilities is going to be really, really tough. And I was just saying this earlier, I don't know how exactly you balance like healers versus damage dealers versus tanks in a game like this. Like, what if the tank is just never needed? I think there are 2 parts of being a tank in any game. One is the attracting damage, and the other is mitigating damage. And how you mitigate could be any number of ways. There could be armor, there could be dodging, there could be whatever, like stunning the enemy or something instead. There's a lot of different things you could do here. But attracting the damage is typically like get the enemy to focus on you. Or maybe like take damage for another character. And in some Final Fantasy games, this was cover. Like your character would jump in front of them somehow. So if you don't have these 2 things, then is your character really a tank? Anti. And the only way that the warrior works right now, and maybe this is a little bit broken, I guess, what the warrior's abilities are. It has a passive counter attack and then a taunt ability. And taunt, I don't even remember how this works. Oh yeah, taunt has a mod that lets you reduce damage incoming. This probably isn't super balanced. Maybe need like one-shot mechanics that only tanks can deal with. That's a way of making it so that the tanks are actually needed. But I think you can just make it so that the damage throughput of enemies is too high for non-tanks to deal with. And they don't need to be one-shots. I mean, imagine if you have like 1,000 life for all of your characters in the game, and the enemies are doing 100 damage per turn or whatever. That means you've got 10 turns to live for any individual character. So now if your tank is only taking 50 per turn, that can extend the battle so that now you have 20 turns, and maybe that's enough time for you to destroy the enemies. So it doesn't need to be a one-shot thing necessarily. Also, if there were a one-shot thing, it would make it so that now you have to have a tank. And I think that would be... I think it would just sort of reduce the flexibility you have to the point where you feel like you're less creative playing the game, which probably makes you feel too constrained. What is this? What is this? Did I have this in counterattack to begin with? Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, I got rid of an import that was not needed here. I want to search for this. Do I ever do this anywhere else in the code base? Outside of a using statement? Okay, let's do this. Open an editor. And then cut out all the usings. And then search for abilities.base. Namespace. Okay, cut all the namespaces too. And then abilities.base. No, cool. All right. I'll do that in one place. Maybe just certain fights. Yeah. I think if you were to structure characters into either damage dealers, tanks, or healers, and have no hybrid classes, that on the whole in your game, you want all of the roles to get used. So do you want them to always be used? Is it up to the player? Are there situations where you need a certain party composition? Like, is there ever a time when you need 4 healers, for example? And I guess you can maybe concoct something. Maybe there's a fight where your healing is at like 400% efficiency, so you just always need to heal. But then, like, I don't know. Is it worthwhile to do that? So I think we can just check in this one counterattack buff. I'll check this in and I'll just say prefer import over full path. I'll just say switch to an import. I was specifying, what was it? This is no longer the diff. Abilities based on ability ID instead of just ability ID. Reactive healing. Yeah. Balancing should then be a process of seeing what players use and either buff or nerf by either changing the ability or price of it. Maybe. I think there are a lot of different ways you can approach this. Yeah, one is what you just mentioned, which is seeing what players do and then saying the underutilized stuff should be utilized. But maybe it's underutilized for a reason that has nothing to do with balance. So for example, let's say all abilities or all weapons are exactly equal in a game. You have a sword, an axe, you have a scythe, you have a whatever, picture any number of things, a bow and arrow. Your player base will probably not evenly choose all of these, even if they're the exact same. Like maybe swords are just cooler for players. So is it that way with classes as well? Like all of the things being exactly equal, let's say they all have the exact same abilities or something, warrior, mage, rogue. Are people just gonna be like, I like the idea of a rogue better than I like the idea of a warrior? So I don't know. Yeah. And then if something is way more powerful, yeah, players might gravitate toward that just to make their lives easier. I'm playing a game right now where they actually literally say they say like all characters have the exact same stats and abilities. So you're pretty much just picking which picture do you like for your character. And I've never really seen that be done in a game before. Like, to have made all these different characters, but then have their stats be the same. And it was like, well, like maybe they just didn't feel like balancing it. All right, this is looking pretty good. On healing Deli, yeah, we changed quite a lot here. This does not need to be checked in. Revert this. Get haste multiplier, update cooldown, yeah. And we could check in some of this stuff on its own. I wonder if I should do that. No, I don't think I care too much. This should be checked in, but not the other bit. And this shouldn't be checked in. Okay, so I think we need all of this. I'll look over this one more quick time. What is this doing? Oh, this is an import file. It's like, I don't remember that. Actually, whether or not we grant the buff here shouldn't matter too much. Haste is always granted, yeah. How do you get into coding? No prior experience, and being honest, don't know what language would be good to start with. I wrote a little guide for this this exact question. So you want to learn how to program. So yeah, I suggest taking a look at this because that's all my advice anyway. And I would just be repeating it all here if I were to say it. And it's a decently long thing. But there are no ads in there. There's one like, hey, do you want to subscribe to my newsletter, which I don't even ever send out. So yeah, you can just read the content. Not trying to hawk anything now. Yeah, I think this is looking good. Just making sure nothing popped in here. I already reviewed all the code. Yeah. Yep, cool. Add cleric. This also adds the cleric's abilities and any systems needed to support them, e.g. modifying haste and healing received. This character is probably not balanced. Yeah, cool. Neat. Okay. All right, let's start cranking through some of these things now too. So use this code everywhere to make it easier to copy paste. Level equals get level of ability for entity ID. Yeah. We can probably do this. Close every tab. Just making sure there's nothing I actually needed here. If I knew ahead of time there was nothing I needed, I could have just closed them all differently. All right, what do we got? Crush, disorient. This does not matter. This does not matter. We're good. We're good. 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 I'm looking for a very, very specific case. Yeah, like this. This can just be ID. Yeah. Same thing here. ID. Here. Yep. Just need to make sure that the ability we're trying to get matches the class. And if it does, then we can just say ID. And this will make it a lot easier to copy paste stuff in the future. I mean, it's also technically less verbose. It's not really copy pasting that I'm trying to value here. Oh, this is static. That's why we can't do this. Oh, man. Yeah, it's not the copy pasting that I value. It's that this is one more chance to make a mistake if you have to modify 2 of these things instead of just 1. So here, get chance is something I'd like to have be not static. But then what was the problem with that? What was the problem with that? Oh, then we need to get the ability that we have. Okay. Yeah, I prefer that. Okay, let's do that. So I'll put this here. Except for I like having this be lower than the other one. Good. And then this will now be broken. So we need to get your heal ability or heal reactive healing ability. So base ability, heal, reactive, healing equals. There's probably a better way to do this. Do I have any static functions in here? Get level of ability. I don't need the level, I need the ability. Okay, well, whatever, fine. Public static base ability. Get ability for entity. It should just know how to fill all this in. Return this. Cool. I think that's what I had originally. Now we can just do this here. We say this equals abilities component dot get and then get this from here. Drat. This would need to be heal, reactive healing. And then we need to cast it. Operator should not appear at the end of a line. Not at the end of the line, what? Huh. It's strange. Yeah, weird. The formatter pushed it over to here. I'm not sure I like this structure better in the end. Get. Here we only use the abilities component for that same thing. We get their heal ability. And this is so that we can call use on it. We could have done it this way, I guess. Just duplicate that. Active ability is ability components I get for entity, affected entity. Yeah, weird. It's doing this thing. Should not appear at the end of a line. How else do you cast this? Can I do get ability for entity with generics? I guess I could change that. A T question mark? Where T colon base ability? Oh wait, would the abilities component need to be generic too then? Can you make a static generic function? I think I just want to change the formatter for now, but I am actually curious about that. Need the T in the function name too. Oh, I see. Okay. Cannot implicitly convert base ability to T, an explicit conversion. Good ability is base ability question mark. I'm missing something here, but I don't know what. This is base ability question mark. This is pretty much the same thing, right? Huh. Base ability is a T, or T is a base ability. T after their turn to cast? Like, cast this here? Converting null, literal, or possible null to non-nullable type. Oh, like that? Wait, why is that needed? That seems weird. Does this help me? In this case, I just want it to be an active ability, I guess. And then delete this. And in this case, I want it to be a heal reactive. All right, I should try that out. But thank you, Toulouse. That's correct. Or this is at least how I would do this. So what do we modify? Just reactive healing, and that's it. Discard, I guess. Yeah, discard. Yeah, this would account for it. I also don't know why the linter did that, and it might be a rule we just want to turn off. I want to return a derived type from an abstract type. I see. All right, well, now I need the cleric. And we need to make sure reactive healing works. The tooltip works. Is the tooltip even something that would have been modified? I guess just will heal. Yeah, so let's start them in a battle now. And when they get hit, they should heal. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, cool. So we can delete this now. All right, let's keep going through this. Oh, that's why. Now we can finally say ID. That was all for that. Nothing else. Same thing. Just going to go through all of these. Yeah, this looks a lot better. Get level of ability. Could we have... If we're already going to change this anyway, we could have like a get level of ability for entity inside a ability base, and it could know how to do this. And then we just get rid of this right here. And that's it. But then we sometimes want to get the ability idea of something else. No, I think this is fine. Also, I don't want to go too crazy with this. This is supposed to be something pretty quick. All right, so this does not matter. This doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's everything. Yeah, we've done it all. All right, so every change should pretty much be the same one, except for that, the reactive healing one. So yeah, everything should have just been replaced with ID. And this is all for the sake of tooltips, so I guess all we need to do is look at the tooltips and make sure they make sense. Yeah, and if they ever don't, then we have a problem. Get chance was made not static. So that we now get these here. Yep. Is this less code? It's 6 lines more. It's just because this line is so long. In fact, do we need the exclamation mark there? Yeah, we do. Because we know that this is going to exist. And we know it's going to exist there too. Yeah. All right, so I don't want to check in town, and I don't want to check in town menu, but everything else I want to check in. And before we do that, let's just go verify that the tooltips all still look good, which means we just need to put points in everything. All right. Yep, looks good. Looks good. Oh, we ran out of points. Okay. Looks good. Looks good. Yeah, great. That's all that. Good. 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 I'm just making sure that the numbers are going up by the amounts that they should go up by. That's it. And I mean, so far, this has all looked fine. Yeah. Because it means that I use the correct IDs for everything, which shouldn't be a problem, really. But you never know. Maybe I missed something. Doesn't look like I did in this case. Use ID from ability where possible. Except for ability isn't what it's called. It's base ability. Yeah. This reduces one variable that needs to be updated whenever you make a new ability, which should slightly reduce the chance of making a mistake. Yeah. Done with that. All right, this pluralization thing is pretty minor. I'm just going to file it as a task because I don't want to do it now. I don't think it's super important. Hey, Unknown. How you doing? Any other options you thought of before starting the game with Godot? Something like Raylib, Bevy, etc.? No, not really. I just figured I'll just make it work in Godot. Yeah, the certs of botland expired. I know. I haven't gotten around to fixing that. I just have it written down. But thank you for letting me know. I did write that down somewhere, right? Bot. Yeah, figure out why it doesn't have a cert. I don't know why this would have just stopped working though, because it should have auto-renewed. I probably messed something up. I end up changing a lot of little things every once in a while and then just forgetting that there are impacts of doing that. Oh man. All right, so this is probably P2. Yeah. Add a pluralize function. And we do something like this in one case. What is this file called? Storeroom.cs. All right, I want to go take a look at that storeroom. This one. And plural is in here somewhere. Yeah, this. Okay, so we have code like this in one spot, but then we also have this tooltip showing. Do I have the game open? Do I not have it open? I don't have it open. Do you plan on putting a coat of paint on the UI for the game, making it more bubbly and such? Yes. There's a lot of stuff that I think we're going to have a phase of just kind of polish content and non-game stuff. So for example, like the Steam page, that's not really code. Yeah, there's no code. It's just content. And that content is not easy because one of the things we need is a trailer, and then a trailer requires like a storyboard and a bunch of editing and a bunch of, I don't know. So like that's a bunch of work. It needs to happen at some point. And we also need to make all the music and eventually get sound effects and then UI refresh, I guess. What is this thing trying to autocomplete with? That's strange. And I don't even know when we're going to have the time to do a lot of this stuff. Like if I really am targeting, let's say December of 2024, there is just a ton of code work left. Although maybe it's getting less and less. Maybe I should look into that. All right, anyway, let me finish this thought and then I can go take a look at some of that. So the tooltip is showing here. Yeah, I want to take a picture of this. I guess let's put the rectangle around this. And then just say 1 seconds. There. We should make a pluralize function that probably looks something like this. String, whatever, sentence or pluralized equals pluralize num items items. Was it item was and items were? Yeah. Okay, milestone, whenever, and a label. I think this is code quality. It's not actually technically just code quality though. Maybe UI, tooltips. Let's say UI. Yeah. It could be a shot of your portrait explaining the game. I've made a couple of trailers and there's always a lot of work. Typing in a corn feels a lot like writing classes in Lua. How so? I do not feel like it's like writing classes in Lua to me. I do not like writing classes in Lua. but I like typing on the corn. But maybe they're different in a different way. Oh, thanks again, Deadbeat. Yeah. Thanks for the info. I'll be back next time. Yeah, sure. And good luck. I hope you try out Godot in that time. You find the concept hilarious. There are a lot of people who just tune out, though. And yeah, the whole point of a trailer is to capture your attention. I have ideas for what I'd want to do for this, but for Botland, for example, what just happened? I don't know what that was. For Botland, where was it? There was some part of the trailer. I guess it was this. Let me launch this. Where was it? This. Like, this is just a bunch of custom code I wrote that randomized this stuff. I don't even, this is something you could have done with video effects, but it wasn't. Like, I made something specifically for this. I think I also made something to like smoothly scroll a web page. I don't know if that's in this trailer or not. Yeah, maybe this thing right here. And that, I mean, that wasn't too hard, but still this stuff needed to be done and I needed to capture the shot. And yeah, there's just a lot you got to do for it. What am I making? I'm making a game called Skeleseller. I've got a document that shows a little bit more about it there. And we just got done adding in this character, the cleric. So they've got all their skills in the game. And yeah, that I really should have timed how long it took, although maybe each class gets easier to add. But I think that was about 1 day of work. And I want to add another 11 adventurers. I don't think that represents 11 days of work. But it's probably something like 5 or 6, maybe. I'm not sure. For your Twitch bots, use WebSockets to connect to Twitch IRC. The code is all public. Well, publicly viewable. I'm pretty sure I use WebSockets, but I just haven't touched this in forever. Where is this even? I don't know. It's in here somewhere. Bots, source, Twitch, bot. Yeah, WS. I'm using WebSockets. Yeah. All right, what else do we have here? Did I file that issue? I did, right? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. So delete this. Maybe allow for groups of enemies in an instance or a room. I think we need idle animations. Show current game speed. Let's do this one really fast. This is just really simple. I'm just sick of this happening. So it's finally time to change it. There's a game speed button. And in parentheses here, I feel like we just need to put what the current game speed is. How does increased game speed work? It just tells you the engine timescale, yeah. What's the... There. All right, now we need to update this every time the timescale changes, and that's in debug menu. Why can't debug menu know about this button then? Oh boy. I would need to... Oh, it just happens to exist here. I guess what we could do is we could do this. We could... Oh, we need to get the button, though, to be able to modify this. Okay, this is not such a simple task. Actually, does add button return a button? No, it doesn't. Well, we could just have it return the button. Return button. Button increase speed button. But we need another pressed event here. Yeah. Increase speed button dot pressed. Hey, nice. It already just knew what I want to do. All right, this is a little hacky, but since it's a debug function, I don't really care. And now it should just show the timescale. Yeah, so increase game speed 1, 1.5, 2.25. And we'll probably just round it because I don't think it needs to be that exact. There's a way of doing that easily. I think I wrote it in a README somewhere for abilities. Yeah. When something increases by a decimal, if you need the same number of digits every time, specify zeros. If you don't always need numbers after a decimal, specify the maximum number of decimal places. So 0 dot number sign. Yeah, 0 dot number sign is what we want. That'll do exactly what I need. Yeah. Have you had to make a profanity checker or sentiment analyzer to analyze text on Twitch? How would you go about doing it? Probably just use a library. But if I had to code it myself, I think I'd consider one of two things. Either I would, well, I'd almost certainly use AI at this point for it. So I'd probably have some like training and have a way of, because people are very creative when it comes to dodging those sorts of systems. They're incredibly creative. And it's not just like numbers for letters. It's like there's some people who, at least on Twitch, it's a little different because you're trying to get the streamer to pronounce something. So it'll be like, what's a good example of this? I'm not thinking of something like racist here. I'm trying to think of getting someone. Oh yeah. Okay, so like this knock knock joke. It's knock knock. Who's there? I know kung. And that way, when you say I know kung fu, it sounds like you're saying kung fu, right? Okay, so simple, innocuous example. People do this with names, of course, on Twitch to try to get people to say like racist or sexist stuff. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that's pretty hard to check from just like a bunch of if statements or substrings. Oh, hey again, James. That's what Twitch is doing now. They might be doing something like that. Although I don't know how good they are at catching all of this. There hasn't been too much of a problem in this stream, at least not for a while. The soundtrack will be hard metal. Oh, I actually started composing another track and I really like it, but I don't know if it fits for the game. But also all of this stuff is just in my head right now, so I can't really share it with all of you. All right, I think we're good here. Did this work? Increase game speed, 1.5. Yeah, they're weird numbers because they go up by 1.5 every time. But now you can at least tell so that when I'm like, will pressing this button set it back to 1? No, it will not. Could also make it so that you can just right click this button to subtract it. But I don't care. That's it. That's good. Let's check that in. Debug menu. Sounds good. Town. I think let's get rid of this code now. Yeah. It's good. Yeah, that's good. And then this, we could probably also delete that. Retired Android, thanks for the resub. Happy half year. How about Gen AI for profanity checking, or is it too slow? Is Gen AI a specific thing? I'm guessing you're not just talking about generative AI. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I was just talking about sort of general AI. This is something that I think a large language model could actually do pretty well. Yeah. Something like a prompt for the check. Yeah, in fact, oh, you just reminded me. I wanted to do a couple things. You just dislodged a whole bunch of things that I had in my mind. One was AI for class ideas. I want to take a look at that. And the other one was to look at the tasks to see which major systems still exist. This is like, yeah. Let me check this in really fast before we continue. Yeah, so show current game speed on debug menu. This was always something that bugged me, that I couldn't tell when I would reset the game speed. It now shows right on the button. Cool. Broadly go over your most used navigation things with Vim and VS Code. Yeah, Vim I don't use a whole lot, but with VS Code, I think like one of the most common things is just the command palette. Is it? I spelled that right. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the command palette's really common. So like just being able to type any command, because from this, if you don't know the name of another command, like let's say you didn't know how to duplicate a line, you could just search for it and you could find it through there. The other things are going between tabs. So the most common thing for me is Command P, which lets me go to a specific tab by name. So I do that quite a lot. Going between functions, that's Command R for me. So that if I'm in something like this and I'm like, oh wait, where do you hire an adventurer? I can just search through the functions for that. And then typical editing stuff like duplicating lines, cutting. I like to move lines around a lot like this. And I like to do this in a lot of the different editors I use. So the same thing's possible in Google Docs as well. You can just take an arbitrary chunk of lines and move them around. Same thing's possible in Obsidian. I could just, move a line up or down. I think that's really common. I also have a video on the extensions I use. So for example, I can change the word true to false, or top to bottom, or whatever, left to right, or horizontal to vertical. Those come in handy quite a lot too. You can change them all at once if you want to. Wrote a bit of it in Python, like a used profanity checker library. Yeah, it's hard. And it also depends on what you're using it for. If you're providing a library for a bunch of other people, you probably want it to be very good at what it does. But if it's just to get you kind of close enough, I think with any sort of thing like that, though, you always need some level of human moderation right now, because there are contexts where something is not actually bad. Like someone typed this the other day and the profanity checker caught it. And it's like, this is the name of the package manager. This is not a problem. But I guess it looks similar enough to a bad word where it didn't know what to do. So yeah, you'll always need human moderation in there somewhere, I think. You'd have to self-host for this to be cost effective, right? You mean the wait, self-host what? What are we talking about? The AI stuff? I'm using my arrow keys on my keyboard, but they're located elsewhere. I only have 36 keys on this keyboard, so everything is in these keys that you see. The game I'm making doesn't really have servers though, so there's no real concept of self-hosting it except to distribute it. Yeah, so here's my key map. So I can type letters and the base layer, so like Q, W, F, and then I have other layers for everything else. So if I want to type numbers, I enter a specific layer, and then I essentially get a numpad. If I want arrows, I enter another layer, and I essentially get arrows. Yeah, it is the CRKBD keyboard. Yep. That's funny, James Warner. Time people out for typing your name. Referring to AI. Yeah. Although actually a lot of the AI stuff, well, it depends on who you're making it for. Again, if it's for one stream, it's probably going to be pretty cheap, I would say. But if you're doing like a Nightbot kind of thing, then yes, that would be very expensive because you'd be doing it for everybody. And all the AI calls, it's not like each individual one costs a lot. Must be fun to type on any other keyboard. Hey, Grace. It's not too bad. I miss having this setup a lot of times, except for gaming. I don't miss it for gaming. Best note-taking app to happen in a long time. Yeah, I like Obsidian quite a lot. I think it's been nice using it. I think it's also been just nice having my notes in Markdown. Yeah, you could provide a library, a model, essentially. Sitting unused for 2 years, can't handle the transition. Yeah, that is actually really tough. And I had an Ergodox for a long time, and that had a lot more keys. And in some sense, this is actually almost more daunting. Like it's close to a regular keyboard, but not quite. So you kind of want to use it like a regular keyboard. Like you have keys over here that you could use for control and shift, but then you find yourself kind of running out and you're like, oh, I have all these thumb keys. What do I use those for? So this was daunting for me, and I just never set this up really correctly. Then I finally, when I got this, I'm like, all right, I'm going to spend all the time. And I made, where do I still have it open? I don't anymore. But anyway, the key map that I was just showing earlier, this. I like fully customized all of this. I had it change all the lights on the keyboard, which I just never have on right now. And a lot of little things too. Like I have keys that I use for multiple things. Like this thumb key is a whole lot of different functions. Yeah, the mental overload of layers. Yeah. And you could start small. If you have a keyboard that supports custom firmware, I think the simplest possible thing you can do that'll make the keyboard feel totally different is just a simple navigation layer. Maybe just arrow keys and maybe like home and end. So now imagine you're on a regular keyboard. I just pull up a random picture here. Like what I had done on my other keyboard is I have it so that I hold semicolon, which is where your finger rests anyway. And then it turns IJKL into arrows. And there's a little bit more than that. But that alone is enough to make it so that instead of you moving your entire hand over to here, you just keep it where it is. And you just get used to that concept of like a layer that just modifies 4 keys. And if you like that sort of thing, then just slowly build up over time. Too used to your TKL size keyboard. And you built a couple of them. Wow, yeah. I'm surprised. I wonder why you built the second one if you didn't use the first one. I do have LEDs on this, and they were meant to be somewhat functional. They only really work on the left side, though. And it's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, you can't really tell. But I was going to say, some of these keys are pink, some of them are green right now. So like this is my close tab key, and it's red, so that you can know ahead of time that this is a destructive action. And then also it's just got the nice, like, a little trail effect of when I press a key. And I like that. But yeah, I just, the soldering broke or something on the right side. Should make a video about the navigation stuff or the keyboard. The keyboard I have a video about, if that's what you're talking about. That's right there in chat, that last YouTube link, which I can't scroll for some reason. Yeah, there it is, the YouTube link right there. I wish split keyboards would become mainstream and more reasonably priced. I think they'll always be somewhat niche. Well, I shouldn't say always. I think they'll be somewhat niche for a very, very long time. Like, I don't think in the next 5 years you're going to just see like 5 different split keyboards being stocked at a local store. It'd have to be a niche store right now. What are your thoughts on people using GPT for coding assistant? Makes them worse over time. I think it is a helpful tool right now. And I think that it seems like most of the developers I talk to are using AI in some way. Whether they're using it directly in their editor, sort of like what you see me doing. So if I just type if here, it'll suggest something. It happened to suggest the exact same code I already had, but whatever. So that's how some people use it, and some people, you know, copy paste in something to a site or ChatGPT or whatever. I think it's good. I don't think this is making you worse over time, because I don't think it's doing gigantic things for you yet. I think if you said something like code me a game and it made a game, yes, your coding skills would definitely fall apart at that point. But right now it's more like write me a piece of a function or write me one function. So I don't think that's at the point where it can decrease your coding skills, because you still have to think so much about what you're doing. Yeah, soldering is a pain, but it wasn't even, it was a pain to solder it for sure. But then I think just some of the connections broke or something like that. Ah, orders. So you're doing this for other people? I haven't heard of the other boards that you talked about. Rhinestone keyboard. Oh, neat. To be honest, I don't like the look of this keyboard. And I know that's very judgmental to say, but it's too boxy. And what's the other one you said? Treadstone. This one looks cooler. Yeah, I like the look of this keyboard. Yeah, they can be expensive. Yeah. Need more flux, or it's a design issue? Yeah, although how you apply the flux also matters. I think they have these like dabber things. Is there like, this is kind of like what I had, and I couldn't figure out how to apply that all that well. Where is the thing I'm talking about? I don't know. I guess a syringe for it or something. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So AI for class ideas. I kind of wanted to try this out. Let's go take a look. Chat.openai.com. We're talking about AI anyway. So let me open up a, whoa, what is, can I hide this? Yeah, cool. Okay. So I don't know exactly how I would get it to answer this. So I'm just going to type in a prompt and we'll just see what happens. So I'm making a game where adventurers can battle enemies. Each adventurer has a passive ability, like counterattack, 20% chance to counter an enemy's attack, and 2 active abilities, like slash deals 5 damage. The abilities should somewhat synergize with each other. So counterattack may pair well with an ability that decreases the damage taken or causes the character to get attacked more. Can you design some classes with those constraints? I want to know the class name and the 3 abilities they will have. I just want to see what this does. It's giving me practically the exact same. Oh, interesting. 12 mana to deal 20 mana. Backstab. Evasion by line, then you get in a better position. Creates a smoke screen that reduces the accuracy of enemies. Okay. I can sort of see some of this stuff. Can you paste bin the prompt? Yeah, sure. How about this? I'll just paste it into here for right now. And I'll just give you the links to this document. Get a no need to wash off flux, a syringe, squirt a droplet. Yeah, I'm going to write this down for when I get back to this stuff in the future. Thank you. Although I probably will never fix this keyboard, but let's continue reading what it had come up with. I was at Paladin, yeah. Heals for 5% of maximum health whenever an active ability. That's pretty cool, actually. That's pretty cool. Deals 7 damage and heals the Paladin for 3 health. This is, I wouldn't really say that's synergy. Increases defense by 20%, heals all allies for 5 health over 3 turns. It's like it sort of doesn't really know what synergy is. Yeah. Bloodlust, increase attack damage by 2% for every 10% health missing. Deals 10 damage, it causes the Berserker to take 2 damage. Berserker's attack speed allowing. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so interesting. I like this. I'm gonna take this. Claude's for okay, let me take a look at that in a second too. But I want to write this ability idea down. Ability ideas, healing stuff. Heal whenever an active ability is used. Do I have this already in the game? Anything that's done on active abilities? Let's see. Mental swiftness. Yeah, mental swiftness is done. This is like mental swiftness, but for healing. And I also like the phrasing of this. Increase attack damage by 1% for each percent missing. Yeah, it gets stronger based on life missing. Possible phrasing can be something like this. It's not even phrasing, it's also framing. Thanks, AI. Yeah, the LEDs are, yeah, they're just annoying. All right, let's go take a look at this. Enemies are more likely to attack. Deal 3 damage and reduce enemies' attack by 20%. Increase defense. It's funny that they came up with 3 of the same classes. Damage dealt increases by this for each thing of health loss. Reckless strike takes damage. Battle cry, increase attack. Evasion, backstab. They came up with the same ability, backstab too. And smoke bomb. Huh. Holy aura heals 1 HP to all allies at the start of each turn. Interesting. Hadn't thought about that start of each turn. Although there's no start of each turn, is when an ability is used. Smite heals a paladin. Land hands heals an ally and removes all negative status effects. Gains 10% resistance to the element of the last spell. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I'm going to take that too. Do I have resistance stuff already written down over here? Yeah, passive to resistance. Could be a character that gets resistance. Attack, an ally takes damage, split it. Yeah, baby and got it. Yeah. And I would follow up with the prompt. I'm just kind of looking through what it's giving me now. Because this is just an idea of like, in the future, I do want probably about 15 classes, and designing the first, whatever, 7 will probably be pretty easy. Then it'll probably get a little bit tougher, then it'll probably get really tough. So yeah, I think those last few we're maybe going to need to use some AI for. And maybe I just write that down here. Ability ideas. Note, consider using AI to help fill in some blanks. Maybe give it prompts about healing related abilities, or even tell it exactly how the game works. I have not seen that. Dagesh too. Yeah, okay, let's see what else we have. Create a barrier that absorbs damage, slows attack speed, counterattack, increases counter chance for 2 turns. Counters deal 5 damage instead. That's interesting as well. I hadn't thought about that. No, wait, no, I did think about that because I have that coded already, right? I think it's in the game. Let's just look at shields up. Swords up. Increased chance of counterattack. Yeah, sorry there. And was that everything? Yeah. Okay. Just want to take a look at that. And then the last thing I want to take a look at was... Oh, don't stream past 11:40. It's 11:30. Okay, I got to go pretty soon. I want to look at the last remaining major tasks that we have. I always forget how to do this. I guess in this case, we just want to look at the issues, not even anything else. So I'll just go to this. All right. You know what might be even better than this is what I have down here. Buildings, selling items, functional effects, NPCs, projectiles, buffs and debuffs, rooms, skill trees, save. Okay, we're actually doing way better than I thought. Just looking at this, at least. Although some of these are pretty big. Like if I want to add in achievements, I don't think that's going to be trivial to do. But yeah, content, juice and polish, those sorts of things, that's going to take forever. This stuff's going to take forever. Yeah, all of this is going to take a very long time. But okay, I'm feeling a little bit heartened by looking at this. How offensive is it to ask dumb questions? You can ask dumb questions. Totally fine. Is that part of the short, or is this just playing on what the short talks about? Skelepathy, skelekinesis. I want to put in a bunch of skeleton puns, but really only for the worker, not for the adventurers. Like the town is called Skeletown or something. And I kind of was thinking of naming the main character's name would be Skeleton the Skeleton. Because that's what you're doing. Oh, skelekinesis is out of your head, yeah. I think I gotta get going pretty soon. Yeah, so I'll wait for Halter Baby's question. Then I probably need to go. Like I said, I have a hard cutoff at 11:40 here. It's 11:31. I will be back in the afternoon. So if you're about to bail out right now, maybe a little later than normal. Maybe it's going to be like 1:30 p.m. So about 2 hours from now. And then I should stream for another 3 hours or so. We're just going to keep tackling all this stuff that we have here. Yeah. Maybe I'll work on the quest system. Maybe we could design a summoner too at some point. All right, well, yeah, Halter Baby, if you've got your question now, feel free to ask. If not, I'll probably head out pretty soon. And then, yeah, this afternoon, I think we can just keep working our way through this list. I don't really want to work on this one yet. They'll allow for groups of enemies. File a task for this if we don't have one already. Yeah, I'd rather funnel everything through the task system that we have. Code the cleric is pretty much done. Yeah. Back, nothing guarantees it goes off. I guess we could do this super fast. Edit my homepage so that this doesn't have a hotkey on it anymore. Save, and this gets the hotkey E. Save and download. All right. Now I can press E to open up my chat, which which I do pretty much every day. So I might as well hotkey for it. Okay, yeah, have for later. Sounds good. Well, thank you all for watching. I am going to get going. Here's Discord if you want to join. Here's YouTube if you want to watch any of the videos I've done. Whoa, thanks for the gifted subs. That's very nice of you, Halter Baby. And welcome, everybody. I will be back in probably something like 2 hours. I have somewhere to be, and I don't know how long it's going to take, and then I've got to come back from that thing. So, yeah, normally I'd start at 1 o'clock or so, but yeah. So hopefully see you then, and we'll just keep working on Skeleseller. I mean, that's what we're pretty much doing the rest of the year. So take care. See ya.